I don't love being a hating ass bitch all of the time. I like it sometimes. But when it comes to books, I really want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I want to come on here and tell you these books are great and you should go read them. But sometimes my limits are tested to such an extent that I feel compelled to come on here and instead be a fucking hater. Okay? And that's my God-given right. Some things
Be nice.
I'm finding it.
It take you that long to
It
find
does. It does.
it's I don't want to be a hater, but sometimes I have no choice, okay? And this is a I have no choice but to be a hater moment. I'm drinking the haterade, okay? And if you like this book, yay! I'm genuinely so glad. I'm glad that you like this book. If you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. That's fun. And you are welcome to go into the comments and tell me that I'm wrong. But it's my video. And I had to read this book with my own two eyes. And I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, and I have to tell you about them because if I don't, it will haunt my dreams forever and ever, and I will never find peace ever again. So, the book today that I'm going to review is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. The first thing we have to do is admit my part in this controversy, which is that I thought this book was sapphic.
I thought you were American.
I think probably because I saw it recommended a lot by sapphic authors. I'm not going to name names because I will not slander their reputations like that for misleading me in such a way, but there were some sapphic fantasy authors who promoted this book. Probably that's because it's like maybe a similar imprint, or they're friends with the author, or they have the same agent. I don't know. A lot of the times when you see book recommendations or book promotions by authors who didn't write the book, it's because it's just like a networking business thing. But in any event, this was missold to me. I thought it was sapphic because I only saw sapphic authors posting about it, and so I thought it was sapphic, and it's a lady night book. It's not sapphic, so let's get that disappointment right out of the way first. Criticism number one, it's not gay. I mean, no, that's not serious. So I purchased this book thinking it was a sapphic book about lady knights, and it was not. So that was already a hard thing to deal with right out of the gate. The second issue, the second issue I came across is that I was under the impression it was a fantasy book with romance. And what it is a romantasy. That's fine. Romantasies are allowed to exist. However, I don't like romantasy, and one of the major reasons I don't like romantasy, and I'm saying this because it's going to come up extensively in the reasons I don't like this book, is because romantasies, in my experience, based on the research that I have done myself, in my experience, romantasies are fantasy books written by romance authors. They are a romance with a little fantasy. That's why the roman part is first in romantasy. They are not fantasy books with some romance in them. That's why I personally do not read romantasy, is because one, a lot of them are hetero and I'm not interested in that. And number two, they focus on the romance aspect more than the fantasy aspect. I'm a fantasy reader. I want fantasy. And a lot of the times the fantasy elements are treated as backdrop. But in the case of this book, I think the fantasy could have been used to make the romance more interesting, but that was not an opportunity that was taken. It was just a romance with swords involved. And that's just not my thing. I don't care to read that. But I did, because I got catfished by this book because this is a fantasy cover. This is a fantasy cover. This is not a romantasy cover. So I thought it was sapphic. I thought it was a fantasy. It's neither of those things. I got hoodwinked. I'm willing to take responsibility for misunderstanding what this book was about. However, I did keep reading even when I disappointingly found out that it was a heterosexual romance. Romanticy part of it, like I realized as I was going, if that would have been more forefront in the beginning, I probably would not have kept reading it. But because the romanticy part was kind of buried a little bit, it took me a minute to realize that's what I was reading. I'm willing to take responsibility for the book not being what I thought it was. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what this book is. uh, it's a hot mess. I am not somebody that reads books and then makes sweeping generalizations about what the author intends for the theme of the book to be, because I am a writer myself and I know a lot of the times I'm just writing a story and then later on maybe usually for me it's in the editing phase and I'm like, oh, I'm writing a book about this thing. So I am not somebody that thinks that authors inherently are writing with an agenda. Some of them do, but it's not as common as I think a lot of scare tactics want you to believe it is. I think people just kind of write the thing that they want and their values and beliefs show through. So I don't believe that it's inherently malicious. I don't think it's inherently trying to push a particular idea or social belief. I do think though that when you are writing, you are coming through, and the things that you believe, whether you actively are aware that you believe them or not, it's going to show through. All of that implicit stuff is going to come up because we're writing from the insides of our brains, and our brains are formed by experiences and beliefs and educations and all of this other kind of stuff in the world. So I do not inherently believe that she wrote this book trying to push a traditional conservative idea of womanhood, especially in the context of a heterosexual relationship. However, it was there, girl, okay? And it was there, and we've got to deal with it, and we've got to face it. So again, I'm not saying that she did this intentionally. I'm not saying that if you read this book and you missed this, there's something wrong with you. I'm not saying that if you read it and you don't get it, I'm right, you're like, that's not what we're doing here. I'm just telling you the stuff that I saw in this book that was red flags, okay? And I want to start by the three main issues that I had with the book. Not all of them are ideological, but there is one big one that's very ideological. And then there's two other kind of like developmental issues that I had. And then I'll kind of give rapid fire of some other kind of quirks and issues that I had with the book, because unfortunately I had a lot of issues with. I enjoyed it at the beginning. It fell off for me at the end. And I think that is just the way things go sometimes. And this is not a condemnation of the author. I'm not saying that she's untalented. I'm not saying that she's evil. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying I did not like this book, and here is why. Let's just get into it because I've spent way too much time prefacing and disclaimering. So here we go. Number one issue with this book is the ideological issue. It is so male-centered. And I don't say that lightly, okay? This book was so male-centered that I thought I was going insane. We live in a male-centered society, right? We live in a patriarchy. This is the way things work. This is the way things have worked for a long time. There are forces much larger than this author who have made this the way that we interact with the world. As a lesbian myself, I have spent a lot of time actively decentering men. And so because I do that, I know that a lot of people have male-centric behaviors that they don't recognize are male-centric. And not just people, but like whole institutions, right? Like I'm more aware of the male-centeredness of the world than maybe a heterosexual woman would be. I actively read a lot of gender studies. I actively read a lot of women's studies. This is something that I spend a lot of time thinking about. Again, I don't think she's doing this on purpose, but this book was so fucking male-centered, it made me feel like psychotic. Like I felt crazy. The premise of the book is that there are these childhood friends named Kier and Gray. Gray is the woman, she's a knight. Kier is a man, he is a mage. In this world, the way that magic works is there are people who are called wells who are somehow innately connected to a source of magic. They can't use that magic themselves. They're a well. Mages can access the magic within the well, a person, and do magic stuff, okay? So this country is at war. We'll get to that. Gray is a well. Kier is her mage. They are paired together in battle. Gray is the knight. Gray defends Kier's physical body. Kier uses magic to destroy their enemies. Wells cannot be harmed by magic for some reason. So somehow, Gray's job is to physically fight off people who try to attack Kier, while he is actively siphoning her energy and her stamina and her, like, almost her life force by doing magic. So I know that you are a thoughtful person and that you're kind of picking up what I'm putting down here. Gray has innate magic that she can't access, but the man can. Okay? Okay. Okay, so that's already not great, right? So that's not awesome. And we'll get back to the magic system in a minute, but for right now, that's kind of what we're operating under. Gray is the main character, but Kiri is the main character, right? Like, he is the one that has agency. He is the one that is active. The mages are considered like the authority, and the well is just like a bodyguard, essentially. They technically are promoted together, but only one of them is allowed to talk in military meetings. Can you guess which one? Okay, moving on. So that's already like an issue, right? And by the way, most of the wells that are mentioned by name in this book are women. Do with that what you will. Gray, as a person, is concerned with only one thing, and that's getting Kier to fuck her. She has this big old crush on him, and she can think of nothing else but how badly she wants to bone for the whole book. You find out later that Gray is the heir to a nation that was once like the seat of the magic power. All of the magic power in this world came from this country. She is the heir to that country. Ostensibly, she is the most powerful well alive. Her country was destroyed by the machinations of the enemy country, and all she thinks about is how badly she wants Kier to kiss her. Okay? For the whole fucking book. I'm not kidding you. The whole fucking book. Later on, when she actually does decide to reclaim her place as the heir, she's only doing it to get Kier back. She doesn't feel any sense of like wanting to get revenge. She's not interested in bringing magic back to the world because the magic is depleting because this country is gone. She has no internal motivation at all. She only wants to sleep with Kier.
Be nice.
I'm finding it.
That's fucking boring, okay? That's so stupid and boring. It really pisses me off, and I'm trying to calm myself down. But like, this is the reason why romantasy gets a bad name, because of main characters like this who are powerful, who are significant, who matter in the world, and the only thing they want is a boyfriend. Am I crazy? Like, I feel like I'm having psychosis. I feel like I'm having psychosis. What are you talking about? This story would have been so much better if she was motivated by trying to bring her country back or trying to get revenge on the people who destroyed her country. She never has a sensation about that at all. Not at all. She, like I said, she eventually does take her place as the heir and brings the country back, but only because of him. Then, once she's decided she's going to be the queen of this country again, and she's brought it back from ruin, she becomes so fucking useless. All of the military meetings, she doesn't give a shit about. All of the strategy, she actively says she doesn't know anything about strategy, and so she has to let Kier do it because Kier knows better. Have y'all not been together for 6 years? You didn't pick up anything about strategy when you were together for 6 years. What about when you were a child and your mom, who was the queen and was training you in her to take her place, she didn't teach you anything about strategy? You learned nothing about strategy this whole fucking time. It's your country, and you're just gonna give it up to him? And that's another thing. That's another kind of aspect of this. So one thing that they do before the book takes place is Kier and Gray bind together, which is essentially like marriage. Kier can't use another well, and another mage can't use Gray as a well, as a source of magic, Because she's done this, he just gets free reign to be as equal of an heir to the Lost Island and to the magic as she is. Huh? What the fuck are you talking about? All she fucking cares about is him. All of the choices she makes in this book have to do with him staying safe or staying alive or him sleeping with her. It's so fucking crazy. It's so fucking crazy. Whenever they fight and he gets mad at her, she just becomes so fucking useless. She does nothing. She becomes the queen and just puts on dresses and just like gives up on being a knight and being a soldier. Gives up on that whole fucking life. She's a horrible ruler. She is completely incompetent. She doesn't do any, like, she has no measure of responsibility. She actively says to one of her allies, like the king of an ally nation, she was like, I don't give a shit about anybody except Kier. Hey girl, first of all, don't tell him that. Second of all, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. This book would have been better if she was just a nobody. She was just a normal ass well. Then I would be like, okay, girl, whatever makes you happy. But like the way that she has all of this power and all of this control and she can do anything and the only thing she wants is to get laid by this loser. Say something nice. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. Listen, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. She becomes the most powerful sorcerer, essentially. She can't use the magic, by the way. We're gonna come back to that. And she just like gives up half to him. She's like, you can be the king. Just sleep in my bed. Girl, get it together. Literally, like, I need you to get a grip, girl. Girl, I need you to get a grip. What the fuck are we talking about? She's so unlikable. She's so fucking insufferable. She's so male-centered. This is what she sees, and it's just Kier. And the whole world is around her, and she has power, and she has control, and everything, and the surrounding stuff is interesting, but she is just blinders on for this fucking man. And it makes me so pissed off. It makes me so pissed off. Later on in the book, towards the climax, the island is getting invaded, okay? And everybody's gonna have to fight, except her, because Kira's like, you would be safer in the castle. Okay, where was that energy when she was on the fucking front lines with you, taking fucking swords to the belly to keep your dumbass alive? Makes no, hey, this doesn't make sense. Hey, stop trying to make this make sense. It doesn't. They're about to start a fight, and she says to another ally, again, girl, stop telling everybody your thoughts. She says, I have the power to kill all of the invaders. Like, I'm that powerful. I could just drop them all dead. But what if they get mad at me? What if they get mad at you? Listen, I know that I read fantasy with a lot of morally gray characters, okay? I cut my teeth in fantasy on Ren from the Poppy Wars. That bitch didn't fucking blink. She said, I'm doing genocide right now because you pissed me off, okay? I read the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. She said, what if you all fucked off, okay? I am used to women who are fucking mad and don't give a shit about people being mad at them. So I know that this is coming from a place of me being biased. But that being the reason that you choose, who's going to be mad at you, girl? Everybody's going to be dead. All of your allies are going to be killed by the invading army, so there's not going to be anybody to be fucking mad at you. What are we talking about? It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But again, all of this, all of her choices, every single fucking goddamn choice she makes in this book is about getting laid by this guy. Which brings me to the second big issue I had with this book. And that is there are no stakes. If her big thing, right? If her big thing is she wants nothing more than to get laid by this guy, okay? Why can't they be together? He's trying to whisper in my ear. He says there's no reason for them to be together or for them not to be together. It's pitched as a forbidden love story, but there's literally nothing to forbid the love. So why do I give a shit? Okay? There's no reason for these people not to be together. They both are so fucking clearly horny for each other. Neither of them are with anybody else. There are no rules against them being together. There's no like story stake in them being together. Like there's literally no reason for them not to be together. I would give anything for one single fucking thing in this book to have a consequence. There are no consequences for anything that happens in this book. Kier ends up dying and they just bring it back. Hey, don't worry about it. He's fine. Why do I care? There's no tension. Nothing bad can happen to these people. They get separated, they're back together in the next chapter. They're mad at each other, they make up in the next chapter. There's no stakes. This binding thing is supposed to be mega against the rules. No stakes. No one ever even tries to really call them out on it. Definitely nobody tries to like punish them or hold them accountable for doing it. In fact, we don't even really know why it's not allowed. So even with like the theoretical threat, it's not there because it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. And it's just really hard to read a book where nothing matters. And like there's no reason for the island of Locke to be restored. There's no reason for her to take back her place. There's no reason for anything. They get together and it changes nothing about their relationship. Hey girl, that was the whole big thing. That was the whole big thing and nothing's changed. What are we doing? What are we doing? There's a big choice at the very end of this book that Gray has to make. Stakes are kind of unclear at best. At worst, there are no stakes, okay? No matter what she chooses, she'll be okay. She doesn't have to actually give up that much. I don't know if this is an issue of the author just like being not so great at explaining the world and explaining how the rules of this world function, or if there just are like she just didn't really think about it. I don't know. Nothing happens to anyone except one person, Justice Vermeer, okay? Listen, on top of that, there's no villain. Hey, there's not a bad guy in this book. There is a bad country. What do they want? I don't know. These countries are at war. Why? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what we're here for is Kier and Gray touching each other inappropriately at all times. And not only are there no villains, Gray doesn't even have enemies. She should. She should have a lot of fucking enemies. But I'm not joking, every single person in this book not either likes her and or actively tries to help her at risk of themselves. Why? She's kind of a bitch and she's kind of dumb. What is it to you? Again, no stakes. All of the characters are just like little things orbiting around for her to talk to, and she can't talk to Kira all the time. Honestly, if this book was just the two of them talking to each other the whole time, that would have been more engaging than me feeling frustrated by all of these elements existing in the world and her just doing nothing with them. It's like she set up this beautiful stage and was like, oh, look at this. This is a big whole world. There's this whole thing going on. Aren't you so? We're only going to focus on these two and we're just going to make them kiss. I read 400 pages of just, and what if they kissed? Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Listen, this is going on too long. The third thing is the magic system. It makes no fucking sense. It sucks. And I think, honestly, the whole idea of it is really fucked up. And I don't like it. And I don't think it was explored in a way that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense that there are people who can store magic but not use it. Why? Don't know. Why would Locke be the most powerful nation if it was just a nation of people who can hold magic? You can't use it. You could just hold it in your hands. Just hold it in your hands. Look at it. You can't use it though. What's the fucking point of that? I honestly think it's like she wanted to write Fated Mates and then was like, oh, I can't do that, but I'll just make it this magic system instead so that there's like a weird dynamic between them. Except it's not weird, it's just conservative. Woman has innate wild magic, only man can tame it. Go fuck yourself, come on. And again, I don't know that she's writing this intentionally. I'm assuming that she's not. What I don't understand is how she wrote the whole thing and didn't say, why did I make those choices? Is it maybe weird that I made those choices? This got so far with no moment of critical thought about what she was writing. And that's what my fucking issue is. If it would have been flipped, okay? If Kier would have been the well and Gray would have been the mage, that would have been infinitely more interesting. That would have been so much cooler because then Gray is in the position of power and she has to make complicated choices about using Kier and using the magic and doing all of that. Hey, when was the last time you read a book about a man wholly devoted to a woman who is powerful? I'll wait. That's what I thought. This would have been so much more interesting if it was flipped, and it wasn't. It was just done in a really traditional way, and it comes off as really conservative and really gender essentialist, and I don't like it. It's very strange, and again, I don't know if the issue is that she didn't explain it enough or if she didn't think about it enough, but it's weird. And let me say this before we go any further, okay? At the end of the book, part of Grey's choice to keep Kira alive is that she would have to give up her power. Guess who gets it? Don't piss me off. But Kier is so fucking adamant that she not give up her power. I'm sorry, who gets to use that power? That feels like a self-interested choice there, Kier. Sounds like you're actually advocating for the thing that's gonna benefit you the most. Go fuck yourself. He fucking sucks. And he doesn't start off this way. At the beginning, he's like kind of like scholarly and sweet and kind of funny and charismatic. By the end, he's just like a fucking raging misogynist. It's so weird. He's so aggressive, he's so manipulative, he's so toxic. He's trying to like get her to agree to things in the midst of them having sex, and it's just fucking weird. And he gets so aggro about her being safe and about her keeping her power. What? She can't fucking use it. She, even her like bomb kill everybody ability, she can't activate it herself. She has to get a mage to do it. So what's the fucking benefit of keeping the magic? Like, it's so stupid. And I want to say one last thing about this, because this is really gonna piss me off if I don't say it. This book has been compared to Gideon the Ninth. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're gonna piss me off. You're gonna piss me off. Don't do that. Part of the reason I'm saying don't do that, one, we're the perverts. Not one fucking pervert in this whole book. Second of all, way too many straight people. Way too many straight couples. There are no heterosexual couples in Gideon the Ninth. Stop doing that. Third of all, the thing that was so engaging about, and this is a spoiler for Gideon the Ninth, if you don't want it, skip past this. I think that this is being compared to the Cavalier Necromancer relationship. Ultimately, she doesn't go as far, but the Lictorhood situation that goes on in Gideon the Ninth. And to that I say, then go there, bitch. Because Tamsin Muir said, I'm going to make a relationship that is so fucked up. And she leaned into the fucked upness the whole time. Okay? If you think Gideon and Harold's relationship is not abhorrently toxic, you have something wrong with you, because it is abhorrently toxic. And what's magic about that is we know it's abhorrently toxic. We know that this is fucked up, and we're rooting for it anyway, girl, because she leans into the perverseness of it. She leans into the power manipulation. In the real world, you would feel icky about that. But the thing about fantasy, and especially about fantasy, is that you get to lean into all that shit, right? You get to lean into all those gross and sticky feelings, and you get to get in there and put your fingers in it, okay? And that's exciting, and that's fun, and that's a fun mental exercise. But we know that this toxic situationship is toxic. It's got green slime all over it. There are big warning signs all over the place, okay? This could be your best friend and her loser boyfriend, okay? And what's going on in this relationship is not really very different from what goes on in the real world, okay? And that's why I'm saying don't compare these, because Tamsin was doing a very specific thought exercise and was making a very specific choice, and this was not a choice. She thinks this is romantic. There was never one time where the dynamics of this were questioned. They just were like, well, that's how it is, and that's how it should be, and do you want to kiss now? It's weird, okay? It's weird. And on going back to like the Gideon comparison, if you read this book and you think it's Camilla and Palamedes, you're on a list. I swear to God, don't ever fucking talk about them like that. All the fan fiction you could make about those two, and this is what you come up with? Palamedes is like the only man in Gideon the Ninth, and he's the only man to me. Don't fucking talk about him like that. This horrendous character slander, if true. And Camilla, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. This book is nothing like Gideon the Ninth. Don't compare it. don't do that. Now we're gonna go into really rapid fire of stuff that I had an issue with. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I think just those three are good. So listen, if you liked this book, this is not condescending. I'm genuinely clapping for you. I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you like it. But I ask you to at least think about maybe some of the points that I made and think about if you agree with them or not. Let's pretend, okay, let's just pretend we can be mean for a minute and that we can have critical thinking and that we can engage in a little bit of nuance. And let's just see if anything that I said you can find evidence of in your own experience of reading the book. Maybe you can question a little thing about yourself, you know? Maybe you can just I was doing that. I was like, maybe I'm too hard on men. I reversed my feeling on that by the time I got to the end. I think we're not hard enough on men. But I opened the space. I opened the space for me to enjoy this book that I knew very quickly I wasn't going to like. But I was allowing her. I was like, "Hey, let me give you a chance, girl. Hey, I already bought this. I don't have anything else to read right now, so I already packed up my books." So let's try. Let's see what happens. Let's get a little crazy with it, okay? And there were things about this book that I liked. I liked a lot of the ideas. I think the writing was pretty good, but it just was a hot mess. And I have a lot of ideological questions. And I think Kier should be put in a pit of snakes. And I think Gray should go to therapy. And by the way, I don't think I actually said this in my review. She's she's 26. You just gotta feel sorry for her. Can you imagine being down that bad? That's fucking at your big age? That's tough. There's no hope for her, I fear. I fear she's gonna be like that forever. Her face got stuck that way. It was disappointing. I wanted to enjoy it. I feel very betrayed by the authors who tried to sell it to me. We live and we learn, right? We live and we learn. I know writing books is hard. I know coming up with fantasy stuff is hard. I know writing a convincing romance is hard. I know confronting implicit beliefs that you have is hard. But girl, we gotta try. Okay? And we gotta try. We gotta make ourselves a little bit better every day. Like I said, I really don't like making hate videos. This is not something I want to engage in a lot. However, I do think it's important to point out stuff like this so that, you know, maybe a reader who is less read than I am can see some of the kind of tropes and see some of the and by the way, I'm not saying I'm well read as in I'm smarter than you. I'm saying I read a fuck ton of books. I read a fuck ton of books and I write books. And so I have maybe a different perspective than somebody who doesn't read as much or doesn't write may have. And I hope that just by pointing out some of this stuff, you get to think about books in a different way. And if you want to keep thinking about books in a different way, like this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? My cats just started fighting. This is a great place to stop. Bye. Hi, Howley. Hi, Howley. I'm in the middle of something, Howley. Howley, I'm kind of in the middle of something if you don't mind. Hey, if you don't mind.